It is my pleasure that we have for the first time the academic colloquium, which will serve as a forum not only for the lecturers, but also I see here many students, not only the lecturers of that field, but also I see lecturers from other fields are joining this discussion forum. I'm really happy. It's going to be the first time that we have it, and it's going to be continuing, where we have this forum. So today, I am pleased to welcome Dr. Matthias Guenther to present his talk on the future energy supply system. Just a brief background about Dr. Matthias Guenther. He just joined SGU this year, a couple months ago, so really fresh, and he has worked in Chile and also in Germany, even also in the research institute of wie heißt es nochmal? Fraunhofer Institute, a very well-known research institute in Germany. So let's welcome Dr. Matthias Guenther for his talk today.
Yeah, selamat siang. Thank you, Ibu Filiana, for this short presentation and for opening this colloquium. Yeah, it's an honor for me to be the first in this new intent to initiate a colloquium tradition. I hope this will continue in the future. And I'm also glad to see colleagues from other departments, from other faculties, and also it's nice to see students, even the students who suffer in my physics class. Okay, the topic of my talk is very general, future energy supply systems. I selected this topic, well, first because it's now, after beginning our new study program, the first event, public event, academically public event, about our study topics, renewable energy and energy efficiency. And I thought that the first talk could be a very general one, and later we will have more specific talks about the challenges of the development of our energy supply systems. On the other hand, this topic is related to my work of the last 5 years. After returning to Germany from South America, I worked at the University of Kassel and at the Fraunhofer Institute for Wind Energy and Energy System Technology. Actually, I worked in the branch of that institute dedicated to energy system technology. And so there were a lot of different working groups studying different topics, and there were also some working groups working about energy scenarios, energy supply scenarios, how our future energy supply system will look like. And in this talk, I will speak in a very general way about the structure of our future energy supply systems. So I will concentrate on energy supply, not so much on energy consumption. I will concentrate on energy supply. In the German language, we have a word which became very important over the last at least 10 years, a bit more even, which is the word Energiewende. Energiewende, translated into English, quite literally would be something like energy turn, but maybe it's better to translate it as energy system transformation. And what does this mean? This means the transformation of the energy system, of the existing energy supply system, into a system that widely reduces or avoids the usage of fossil fuels and nuclear fuels. Basically, the transformation of a fossil fuel-based energy system to a renewable energy-based energy supply system. In Germany, the share of renewable energies until now is not so high. In the electricity sector, we have now about 28% of renewable energy share. When we have a look at the primary energy, then only 15% are delivered from renewable energy resources. Other countries have much higher shares. For instance, our southern neighbors, Austria and Switzerland, they have about 60% of hydropower in their systems. Take Brazil. Brazil has about 75% of renewable energies in the electricity sector and about 25% of biofuels in the mobility sector. Take Norway and Paraguay, they have about 100% of renewable energies in the electricity sector because they have very rich hydropower resources. In Germany, the share is much lower still because our hydropower resources are quite low. And actually Germany is an interesting case because Germany has the plan to realize this Energiewende, this transformation of the energy supply system, under quite difficult conditions. First, Germany is a highly industrialized country, and the energy consumption is very high. So compared to Indonesia, the per capita energy consumption is 5 times higher than here. In terms of primary energy consumption. So the energy consumption is high, it's an industrialized country, and the hydropower availability, hydropower is the economically most traditional and most established technology to generate electricity from renewable energy resources. The hydropower potential in Germany is quite low. Okay, this German word Energiewende was used the first time in 1980 in a book title. And already in this sense as I described it. Energiewende means we want to transform our energy supply system in such a way that in the future, we do not rely anymore on fossil fuels and on nuclear resources. At that time, in 1980, this idea was very revolutionary. Nobody knew exactly how to do that at that time. Because of different reasons. First, many technologies at that time, renewable energy technologies, were very expensive. And another reason was, if we think of wind energy, for instance, which nowadays is very important in Europe, not only in Germany, but all over Europe, wind turbines at that time, they were very small and not sufficient to generate large amounts of electricity. Or if we think of solar energy, PV was terribly expensive at that time, and the grid integration of PV power was a problem because the inverter technology we have nowadays didn't exist at that time. So at that time in 1980, this idea of an energy supply system without fossil fuels and without nuclear power was really a very challenging idea. This changed over the last decades. There were some impressive changes. The last 2 decades, let's say, or maybe a bit more. First, the technologies became much cheaper. And second, thinking of wind energy especially, the wind turbines became bigger and bigger. Let's have a look at this really impressive development. Here we can see the development of the wind turbines over the last 30 years. So an impressive development from small wind turbines to bigger and bigger and bigger turbines. Here it stops at 6 megawatt. Actually now we have wind turbines of 7.5 megawatt. Maybe now some economic optimum is reached. They will not grow in the future in the same at the same rate how it succeeded over the last 30 years. So, taking this example of wind energy, we have now capacities that are sufficient to supply really large amounts of energy, which was not the case in 1980 when this word Energiewende was used the first time. The cost development over the last 20 years or 30 years is also quite impressive. Here we see the cost development of the electricity. As here the bottom line, this is the average fossil fuel-based electricity cost in Germany. And then we see, for instance, the electricity cost of wind energy, which came down to a level which is practically the same. PV, well, PV on roof in Germany, PV on ground in Germany, PV in Northern Africa. Also, the prices are coming, or the costs are coming down. And here you see as a comparison the electricity price for the end consumers in Germany. So what is interesting, for instance, is that if you have a PV panel on your roof in Germany, the cost now of the electricity that you produce is lower than the cost of the electricity that you buy from the grid. This is quite an impressive diagram about the prices of PV panels. In photovoltaics, the cost reductions were the most extreme over the last years. Yeah, you can see here the different years. In 1980 it was really very expensive. This is, the unit is Euro